Hello, I'm Griffin. Today I'm making a video for discussion. I opened the topic to suggestions on Tumblr, and I got a few that were similar enough I figured I could cover them in a discussion video. My first suggestion for the topic of this video was to talk about polyamory, which is I identify with on Tumblr. And I identify with it everywhere, but blah, blah, blah. So the other person suggested I talk about my ideal relationship and what it would be, if any, is what I think they said. Um, well, first I want to cover what it is. It is polyamory. It is polygamy. It's the act of being polyamorous. Uh, Normally it's just uh, shortened down to just being poly or something. But it's defined as it's a combination of the Greek term poly and the Latin term amor, to love multiple or several people. Um, as it's defined, it's the state of having multiple sexual or romantic committed relationships, that part's important, at the same time with the consent of all people involved. Um, I just want to cover exactly what it is so everyone understands what we're talking about. And I'm gonna get back to the definition in a little bit. But first I want to talk about actually identifying as a polyamorous person. It's much like it it's actually like the process of coming out as gay. A lot of things are like the process of coming out of the closet. Um, in the process, first you have to accept it of yourself. A lot of people can see things that you can't yourself understand about yourself yet. So it's a journey of actually accepting yourself before you can even publicly say that you identify as such. Well, in the process of coming out as gay and coming out as someone who's interested in the bear community or the leather community or polyamory or all these other groups and niches that people fit into, you actually have to understand the way you identify with it yourself before you can tell other people about being interested in it. Well, so the polyamorous part, it comes with this huge emotional baggage that's like you start to project the misconceptions on yourself. And you have to not only address that, you have to debunk the misconceptions yourself just to feel comfortable in who you are. And for me, it was really hard. I was in a very long, it was the longest relationship I've been in so far. I was with one person for 4 years, and it was very, um, not, uh, it's not that I didn't care about the person. It's not that I fell out of love. It's just I started realizing that my identity didn't align with the relationship. It would be like a common problem with gay men of the older generations was that they felt they had to form typical nuclear families. And a lot of homosexual men ended up misguidingly marrying women and starting families. Well, when they finally came to terms with their own identity, it's it's not really the fact they stopped caring about their family. It's the fact that they just now realized who they actually are. And I felt the same way in my relationship. I I genuinely cared about that person so much, and it broke my heart to finally realize that I didn't align with this relationship. The way it happens is that I was in a relationship with one person, and I have always dealt with feelings of being alone and being just kind of boxed out of the world and away from other people, that I needed more connections than just one person. And at first, I thought maybe if I would just hang out with my friends more, that I'd get that interactiveness that I was lacking. But after a while, I realized that it wasn't just about that. Uh, uh I want to talk about the misconceptions of it and how that can affect you whenever you're coming to this realization. Um, a lot of misconceptions are that someone who's polyamorous is in they're interested in owning, like, actually possessively owning someone else and multiple other people. There's a misconception that polyamory is a way to get away with cheating on your partner without being held accountable. There's an idea that this means that you're just totally unloyal and you can't be expected to commit to anyone, that you're always going to be like hunting down other relationships and you'll never be satisfied. And in the process of coming to terms with your own identity and coming out, I had to tackle these subjects and seriously think about what all this means to me. I and I would think about those things about myself. I would think I was a bad person because I was using this as an excuse. I didn't really want to be in a committed relationship, and I just wanted to be scot free and not care about what I was doing with whom or whatever. But I realized that, well, no, I'm not that kind of person, and that's not what I really want. But what I wanted was just a more intricate and complicated relationship with more people in it, with the same amount of commitment, with the same amount of love and trust, and the same amount of caring that normal people get from monogamous relationships. But I wanted that with a wider scope, with more people involved, just because that's what resonated with me inside. Just thinking about the subject, researching it, talking about it with other people, listening to what other people had to say about their experiences, it just synced with me on a level that finally made things make sense. And getting back to the definitions, it is a committed relationship. There are more than two people involved, but it is commitment. It is just the same as any other relationship. It's just more than 2 points. It's a triad or four people or more. It's still a romantic, sexual, loving relationship. And relationships will not survive without trust, compassion, understanding, everything you need for a relationship with one person, you need tenfold for every other person in a polyamorous relationship. It's really important to understand you have to treat every relationship as an individual relationship. They're intertwined, yes, and they are all important to the group, but every person interacts independently with their separate partners. You have to respect that, you have to understand that, and you have to accept it. Um, that's just the way people work. Well, I know I did not cover everything you could possibly think about on this topic, and I would love to hear more people come up with questions specifically about the video. If you have any suggestions for new videos, or if you just want me to revisit this topic with some more detail, just let me know and leave your comments or message me on Tumblr or anything else. I'll leave the links in the description, and I'll see you later.